Today's title of Dhamma talk is the teaching of Buddha sadhana, or Buddha's teaching, Dhamma. Sabha papa sa akarana, kusala sa upasambhata, sa chaita pariyodapanam edam bodhana sadhana. Meaning not to do all evil, to be full of good, to completely purify one's mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. This indeed is the sadhana, meaning the teaching of all the Buddhas. The evil not to be done, to be abstained from. According to the first of the three teachings, comprises the bad deeds that arise from greed, hatred and ignorance. Greed in Pali is lobha, hatred is dosa and ignorance is moha. There are bad deeds of body as well as bad deeds of speech and bad deeds of thought. Bad deeds of body are killing living creatures, stealing other people's properties, and indulging in sensual misconduct. To abstain from these three bad deeds, one needs to observe the 5 precepts. As all you all are familiar, in Pali, Panatipata Veramani Saikavaran Samadhiyami, meaning undertake the rule of training to refrain from killing of creatures. Adena Dana Veramani Saikavaran Samadhiyami, I undertake the rule of training to refrain from stealing things of other people. Kame Sumecha Chara Veramani Saikavaran Samadhiyami, I undertake the rule of training to refrain from sensual misconduct. Bad deeds of speech are 4. One is musavara, telling lies that cause detrimental to other person. The number 2 is pisuna vacha, backbiting or slandering speech that can cause disharmony among associates and relatives and friends. And parusa vacha, harsh speech or abusive language like curse, threats, etc. And 4 is sampaplapa vacha, the fruitless talk. Why do we have to abstain from these bad deeds? These bad deeds are blameworthy while they arise, and they bring bad resultants when they bear fruit. How? Killing, stealing, sensual misconduct, lying, they are blameworthy things in the eyes of the wise and the righteous. Creatures have to suffer because of these bad deeds. Because they are blameworthy while they arise, we must abstain from bad deeds. Besides, they bring bad resultants like being censured in the present life. If a person commits a crime, he gets punishment by law. In future rebirths too, he goes down to hell and suffering great miseries there. Or even if he's born a beta and suffers the miseries of the beta, or if he is born an animal, he suffers the miseries of an animal. Even if he is born as a human being, as a result of some good deeds in the past, he meets with such miseries as a short life, illnesses, and poverty as a result of bad deeds. Because they bring such bad resultants, one has to abstain from bad deeds. The Buddha taught us to refrain from and to get rid of these bad deeds, 3 by body and 4 by speech, by way of moral habit or sila. But the bad deeds of mind cannot be got rid of by mere moral conduct. Only the good deed of meditation can do that. The ridding of the bad deed of the mind can be brought about by developing meditation or bhavana. If one abstains from doing what ought not to be done by body and from speaking what ought not to be spoken by mouth, one is following the first part of the Buddha's teaching, not to do what is evil. The good deed to be done, to make become, to increase, in accordance with the second part of the teaching, comprises 1. Good deed of dana or generosity. 2. Good deed of restraint of body and speech, sila or morality. 3. Good deed of peace of mind, samadhi or concentration. 4. Good deed of insight into the impermanent nature of things and so on, vipassana. And 5. Good deed of the realization of nibbana, Ariya Magga, total 5 in all. Of the 5, the first, generosity or dana, is something every Buddhist is familiar. Those who believe in and understand karma and its resultants, they give what they can, they always share with the needy, they offer gifts to the worthy. The giving, while it is being done, does not bring blame. In fact, it is praised by the wise and the good. That is why we say giving is a good deed. Moreover, when it comes to bearing fruit, giving brings in good results. It brings praise and admiration in the present life. In the future existences too, it will lead one to be reborn in the worlds of men and devas or gods, and bring him such good things as a long life, good looks, good health and affluence. Because it brings such good results, we say it is a good deed. Then the second one is good deed of moral conduct or sila. It's the same as not to do all evil, we have already explained in the talk. To abstain from evil is blameless and gives rise to good deed of moral conduct, which brings good results. So to emphasize it, we are again urged to make become this good deed of moral conduct. This advice given to us so that we may become blameless and gain the happiness we want. With regard to the good deed of concentration or samadhi, there is calm concentration or samatha bhavana, and there is insight concentration or vipassana bhavana. Of the two, regarding calm concentration, Buddha has expounded 40 subjects of meditation objects, including the 10 kasina or devices, the 10 asubha or loasomeness, the 10 recollections or anusati bhavana, 4 brahmavihara, 4 arupa, 1 ahare patikula sanya, and 1 chatudhatu vavatthana. The next good deed, that of insight, is the good deed by which one sees for oneself the impermanence, unsatisfactoriness and egolessness of the objects, that is the mind and the matter. Whenever one sees, hears, smells, tastes, touches or thinks. The development of this good deed of insight is the most important of all. Only when a person has acquired this good deed of insight, one will reach the Aryan path and fruit and attain Nibbana, the end of all sufferings. Of all worldly good deeds, the good deed of insight is the best. How do you practice? That is what you all are practicing according to Satipatthana Sutta instruction. And Satipatthana Sula Buddha said, Gachanto va gachamiti bhajanati, meaning a meditator must know when he's walking as walking. Meaning in walking meditation you are instructed to know either right step, left step, or lifting, putting down, lifting, pushing forward and putting down. While you are standing, note standing and standing posture and the touching of the foot on the floor or the ground. Concentrate on the body and then note standing, touching, standing, touching. And when you are sitting, note the abdominal movement as rising, falling. When you want to sit down, first note the intention to sit, and then note all the movements involving in the sitting, like while noting sitting down. And when you are seated, and you may change the position of your limbs or adjust yourself. So all do these movements mindfully. So when you have settled in the sitting position, you note the abdomen rising and falling. While you are thus noting, your mind may go away somewhere else, or then you note going away or wandering, or thinking. You may note using whatever language you are used to. This kind of meditating on the mind is what we call citta nupassana, contemplation of the mind. If you note like this, the thinking will not go on, it will cease. Then one can go back to the noting the primary object of rising and falling of the abdomen. And sometimes the sensations may arise in sitting position. And when those become prominent, you take up as meditation object and note it as paining, or aching, stiffness as you understand. Then if it becomes stronger, first try to be tolerant and watch the pain. But if it gets beyond your endurance, you'll have to change, of course. But you must do it with beginning to note the intention to change and move with full awareness of the changes you have made and adjusting yourself. And when the pain passes away, you go back to the main object of rising, falling. Here, meditating on pain or sensation is what we call Vedana Nupassana, contemplation of feelings. When objects arise through your senses, like hearing, seeing, etc., you must note as hearing and seeing, as Buddha has instructed in Satipatthana Sutta, Chakhonja Pajanati, Rupeja Pajanati, meaning one understands the eye and the visible form, one understands the ear and the audible sound, etc. And noting this way of the sense objects is what we call Dhammanupassana, or contemplation of the Dhammas. Noting with full awareness of every movement like walking, standing, sitting and lying down, or bending and stretching of limbs, rising and falling of the abdomen and so on, as we have given you instructions, is the good deed of insight called Kayanupassana, contemplation on the bodily phenomena. Noting the pain and sensation so on, as we have just now explained, it is Vedana or contemplation of the feelings. Whenever thinking, imaginations arise, noting as thinking or imagining so, and understanding every thought or imagination that comes up with mindfulness is a good deed of insight called Citta Nupassana or contemplation of the mind. Seeing, hearing, and so on arise, and noting as seeing, hearing, and so on, and understanding them as Dhamma is the good deed of insight called Dhammanupassana, contemplation of the Dhamma. As you go on meditating, and when your faculties become well harmonized, then one realizes that which is cognized is one thing, and that which cognizes is another. You distinguish between metta or rupa and nama or the mind. This is what we call nama rupa paricchita jnana, the knowledge of discrimination of the nama and rupa, the mind and the metta. Next, from the intention to move arises the form movement. From the intention to bend arises the form bending. From the intention to stretch arises the form stretching. Because there is visible form, one sees. Because there is the eye, one sees. Because there is audible sound, one hears. Because there is ear, one hears. Because there is notable object, there is noting and so on. You realize how there exists cause and effect only. This full understanding of the cause-effect is, in Pali we call paccaya parigahana, knowledge of discerning the cause and effect. After that, as your meditation gains momentum, you see for yourself how the object noted and the noting mind, they come up anew and immediately pass away. They come up anew and pass away. So they are all impermanent. This is the good deed of insight called anicca nupassana jnana, insight into impermanence of things.
无常的内观智慧，明白一切现象的无常。
If after the passing away of all rupas and nama, metta and the mind, new ones fail to arise, that is the moment to die. One can die any moment whenever the rupas and namas pass away. One realizes that what a dreadful situation it is. This is the good deed of insight called dukkha nupassana jnana, contemplation of the suffering. They are not subject to anybody's wish. They come and go according to their own nature. They are out of one's control. So they are all, in Pali we call anatta or non-self. This is the good deed of insight called anatta nupassana jnana, contemplation of non-self. Next is what we call uddiyabhaya jnana, the knowledge of arising and passing phenomena, by which one feels a very rapid arising and passing away of the objects. When this knowledge comes, one may experience bright lights all around one, and one may feel levitation sensations, and extreme calm and happiness may be experienced. When one comes to the knowledge of indifference to formations, the sankarupika jnana, one finds every act of awareness to be so peaceful and subtle. This is a brief statement of how one experiences extraordinary happiness never before enjoyed while a good deed of insight arises. When the insight knowledge of indifference to formation, this sankarupika jnana gains strength, yogi realizes the nibbana through the Aryan path knowledge. This too is a good deed of Aryan path that has to be developed. When one has made become the first of the four good deed of the path, the Sotapaddi path, its result, Sotapaddi fruition, follow immediately. Once one has reached Sotapaddi path and its fruition and become a Sotapanna or a stream winner, one is free forever from the four lower realms of woeful stage, hair, animals, Vedas, and Asurakayas. When born as a human being or in the Deva realm, one is born to the higher strata of man or the Deva and never to the lower. And these rebirths as man or Deva will be 7 at most. When these 7 rebirths, by virtue of the good deed of insight, one will reach the Arhata path and is whoosh and become an Arhat. Then the third teaching says to completely purify one's mind. To purify completely means to strive to cleanse oneself forever of these moral impurities like greed or lobha, hatred or dosa, and delusion or moha, and never let them arise again. This is the same as telling us to develop the good deed of Arhata path and work for the attainment of Arhata fruit. So whenever opportunity arises, one should meditate on the arising matter and the mind, beginning with the rising and falling of the abdomen. By meditating in this way, may you all be able to develop different insight knowledges. Just now we have described, and very soon attain and realize Nibbana through Ariyam path knowledge and fruition knowledge.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Idame punya Nibbanasa Pacayo Hodu Idame punya Yatinang Hodu Sakita Hundu Nyatayo Imano Punya Bhaga Sabha Satana Dema Sa May you all be happy. May you all be healthy. May you all be free from suffering. May you all attain eternal peace or Nibbana in the shortest possible time.